Welcome back to the Plays with Cars YouTube channel and another episode of Project C Street Boxster. We are here at beautiful Performance Race Engineering in Portland, Oregon, checking in on the Porsche. It has basically been here since we got the car, getting a refresh and a checkout for the season. This car is a dedicated autocross build, as you guys have seen in the intro video, building for SCCA C Street rules. One of the biggest things you can do in C Street is change the factory shocks or struts. So you can see here the yellow. We went with the Koni Sport. They are a adjustable strut, stock style, so no remote reservoirs or anything crazy like that. You have to use the stock springs. Those are some of the limitations you're facing in street. So this is our best option in our budget. People at the very top end of the field, they're doing custom-made billet shocks that are thousands of dollars each. We don't have that kind of scratch, and that's not what we're showing you. We want to do a car that anybody can build. Anybody can go buy a Boxster. Anybody can order these Konis off the shelf, put them in, things of that nature. We're going to show you everything we do to this car so that you can copy this build and be competitive in C Street as well. Anyways, so we went with the Konis in there. The car does have, as you saw, almost 140,000 on it. So as part of that, we were doing a general once-over of everything on the vehicle. Found that the original control arms, the bushings, were kind of done for. So these are factory Porsche, completely stone stock. You're not allowed to change the diameter of the bushings or the height of the ball joint or anything like that in street. They have to be factory parts, so brand new factory parts, so that we have a 0-mile suspension. Got the Koni on there, factory springs. These are the factory Boxster S brakes. They are drilled from the factory, 6-pot brake calipers front and rear. We can change the pads, the friction material, but not anything else. So we will put an autocross friendly pad on there when we do the brakes. You can see these are the little adjuster knobs for the Konis. On the top they actually have a spot to put that on, and then you can either stiffen or soften depending on your track conditions. And then here in the back, same thing, we're going to do some new control arms. You can see previous owners already done some end links. We found the sway bar bushings were the wrong size, put in the correct size of those. For right now, we are keeping the factory front and rear sway bars. Being a mid-engine car and mid-longitudinal, not mid-transverse, there's not a lot of data out there, and there's a lot of opinion on whether you do the front bar or the rear bar. For the SCCA in street class, you can only do one. So the Cobra, we have both bars because we can do both. In this, we can only do one. So the car is kind of set up from the factory a little understeery, which means you would want a bigger rear bar to get it to rotate. However, depending on our alignment settings that we're going to do, and hopefully we'll have a good discussion with Zach about that on the alignment settings and why we can basically no compromise only for autocross, since that's all this car is going to do. But if he can dial out that factory understeer, we'll actually want a bigger front bar to get more front end grip. So we got some debate about that. That's going to be kind of the next phase modification. It's pretty easy to change it front or rear on this car, and we may even buy both and then like do a test day and try out doing one and then doing the other and seeing which one gets us the most time. Other things we can do for modifications are we could do the exhaust from the cat's back. So this is the last cat. We can basically do this little U here and all of this. And this thing weighs a ton. They're like 40 or 50 pounds complete. That's a lot of weight we can lose. That'll help us gain a lot on those Miatas. So this is kind of our big thing here. Indy Miatas, when they're fully prepped, they weigh basically what they weigh from the factory. Mazda makes everything so light, you can't really take any weight off of it. The Porsche, all super solid stuff that we can just get rid of. I believe we only have 96 decibels to worry about at all of our venues, so we can be a little loud, and being center exit helps us a lot too with them measuring that. So we're going to mess around with this and see what we can't do on the exhaust. We've even been talking possibly muffler delete. We will see. So that is one of the modifications we will do. But anyways, the car's been here since we purchased it. We're checking it out, going through it end to end, making sure it's ready to go for the season on all the little factory parts, doing the modifications to get it up to spec for the class. And it's a good thing that you do that, because this car's got almost 140,000 miles on it, and you can see the original CV axles are here. The grease always looks like that, but it's got grease. The thing was, the boots were torn. You could see the whole nose is missing off of this one. and it's cracked there on the inside as well. That can let all the grease out of here. Now, if all the grease comes out of the constant velocity joints, they fail, and you lose an axle. So we tried some rebuild kits and things and weren't real happy with anything and not liking how it was going together. We decided, scrap all this. We're getting all brand new Porsche OE, type axles to put in there. Nothing racier, nothing that's going to gain us any time or go faster or anything like that. What it's going to do for us is ensure that the car is reliable, and it's going to ensure that everything is as tight as it can possibly be to factory specifications. So if you're trying to autocross and you're running on suspension that's got 140,000 miles on it, it's going to be all loose and jouncy because it's got 140,000 miles on it. Now we've got 0 mile rubber. It might not have any more durometer than factory, but because it's new rather than really well used, 20 years old now at this point, that's going to really refresh the car and make us more competitive with the brand new cars. The guys running Indies, they're 2019s now. They want to run the Indy too. So that's what the current status of the Boxster project is. Some of our modifications, some of our plan modifications, some of the next steps that we're taking in this build to go along. And again, this is all factory stuff. You order this out of a catalog. Any competent shop can install it. Maybe you guys are good enough to install it at home. I don't have a strut compressor, and I don't want the spring to jump out and kill me. Plus, these guys were checking everything else out, and I'm having Zach do the alignment anyway, so I like coming in to get a shop, look over the car, pre-season checkout. And I mean, look at this place. Pyaari is amazing. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Pyaari, but they do all sorts of build. That's Zach's old Hoopty Street Civic SI there. I mean, come on, Isuzu Stylus. They got a Datsun pickup stacked up here. This thing's wild. It's getting this frame. That's like Fox body Mustang suspension with a huge motor and all this other crazy stuff. Subaru builds are their bread and butter. They run the Black Widow race program. The car that's been almost 200 miles an hour on the standing, I think half mile it was, at Pikes Peak, which they're getting ready to go back again. In fact, we'll go take a look at it. We'll follow Kevin out here, and thanks, sir. You can see parts on parts on parts and a T-Rex. This, of course, is Zach's autocross machine. This car nearly won F Prepared at Nats last year. Fully developed, all sorts of craziness going on with it. We'll definitely have a check-in with Zach and maybe do an in focus on this when they get it all together. And out here, the infamous Black Widow. So again, this car is a top speed car. And I know new engine build program for this season, all new stuff Zach's been talking about that the shop is doing, aiming to crack that 200 with a 4-cylinder, man. Isn't that wild? Look at some of these customer cars in here. When's the last time you saw a Dodge Avenger built? I think that's a 2.4 SRT swap, like out of the PT Cruiser GT, and then obviously all built from there. Another customer car there. Time Attack, I believe that one is. Drag cars, rally cars. Hey, look, other Porsches too. These guys know what they're doing. So we'll have more for you from Pyaari and from the Boxster project as we move along. So until next time.